WFVX.com host and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, 2 police standoffs come to an end, including one that had a deadly result. Plus, reactions from Maine's congressional delegation as President Trump enjoys progress in his tariff war. And Skowhegan is trying to find ways to cut costs when it comes to getting rid of the community's trash. We'll tell you what they're doing as well. Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig Colson. Emma Smith has the week off. We thank you so much for joining us. We'll have all the day's news, including some special stories that you won't want to miss coming up. But first, a check of the forecast, and it's looking like a pretty nice day ahead today. We should see some more sunshine, and the temperatures, well, at least they'll be up in the 20s, which will feel a little milder compared to what we've had in recent weeks. For more on what we can expect today, let's turn things over to Devin Biggs.
Hey, Craig, thank you very much. Happy Tuesday. We have a few advisories to talk about along the coast. Some small craft advisories and gale warnings are posted until 7 a.m. on Wednesday. Some active surf will be expected. And with colder temperatures, you might notice that little bit of blue right here. That is a freezing spray advisory that is also posted at this time. Meanwhile, we had snow moving through last night. It is now tracking down to the south and east, so we are now done with that. The wind will be rather gusty coming up for a little while. Here's a bigger look at things. This last of the system is tracking away from us. We will calm down for a bit, but another system later on this week will be moving in our direction. Futurecast for today, a mostly cloudy sky overall. Some sunshine will be peeking out. Overall, mostly clear tonight. You might notice a few passing clouds at times. Some gusty winds reaching up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour today, even close to 30 miles per hour at times. And even notice the winds will keep gusting as we head towards your Wednesday to around 20 miles per hour or so. Upper 20s today, mostly cloudy and windy, and the northwest wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour at times. Later on tonight, 0 degrees, mostly clear and breezy. Northwest wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. The hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a partly to mostly cloudy sky with temperatures overall in the 20s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig?
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll see you later on. A police standoff came to a peaceful ending last night in Brewer. Officers from the Brewer Police Department, Bangor Police, and the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office all on the scene last night. Police said they were dealing with an incident on Riverview Terrace and were asking nearby residents to stay inside. We were there as the suspect finally exited a residence and submitted to arrest around 8 o'clock. You can see the individual was a white male and was smoking what appears to be a cigarette as he surrendered. Again, not many details are available at this hour as to why the individual was wanted or how long exactly the standoff lasted. Brewer police do say they will release more information on the incident later on today. Well, there was also a deadly police standoff up in Aroostook County in the town of Portage yesterday. That's where a deputy and a state police canine were also injured after a domestic dispute. The Maine Department of Public Safety reports authorities responded to the incident on Ranger Street for a dispute involving 29-year-old Stephen Regini. A woman reported she and Regini had been fighting and that he pushed her into a wall. When police arrived to help her leave, she was outside, but Regini was still inside with a 4-week-old infant. They eventually talked him into coming outside, but there was a struggle when they tried to place him under arrest, and officials say he pulled a gun from his waistband and shot at the officers while fleeing back inside the home. They say he continued to fire at them as police tried to back out of the driveway. It all came to an end hours later when Regini tried to flee in a vehicle and then on foot when that vehicle became disabled. Officials say it was just before 8 last night when Regini shot a police dog while trying to run away and also pointed his gun at police. That's when he was shot and killed. Officials say the infant child was not hurt and was returned to her mother, and the police canine was brought to an emergency vet for treatment. The 2 officers involved in the shooting are on administrative leave while the Attorney General's office investigates the use of deadly force. A Washington County man charged with manslaughter in the death of his wife will no longer face charges in court. 76-year-old Charles Harmon of Marshfield was indicted on other charges as well, including domestic violence, aggravated assault, intentional or knowing endangering the welfare of a dependent person, and domestic assault. The charges are all related to the death of 79-year-old Caroline Harmon. In court yesterday, the judge ruled Charles Harmon was not competent to stand trial and all the charges were dismissed. The decision was based on evaluations by a psychologist who had been seeing him.
I felt that he had continued to decline and again could not demonstrate any of the skills needed for competence to proceed. I also gave an opinion that he would not be restorable. His competence-related deficits are due to neurocognitive decline, memory decline, and dementia.
Caroline Harmon remained in the hospital until her death on September 15, 2022. Charles Harmon will now remain in the custody of the Department of Health and Human Services. A Bangor woman has been sentenced for her role in a conspiracy to distribute drugs in Penobscot and Aroostook counties. 29-year-old Shelby Loring has been incarcerated for 32 months now. The judge sentenced her to time already served and 3 years of probation. Loring pleaded guilty in January of 2023. According to court records, Loring and others trafficked methamphetamine and fentanyl in the two counties and elsewhere. 21 defendants have now been charged in the case and other related cases for their part in a widespread northern Maine distribution ring. To date, 11 of those defendants have been sentenced. A Dexter woman says her car's exterior is damaged after a vandalism incident there. That's where someone threw an egg at her car while she was driving by, and she was not alone. Heather Wyman says she was taking her cat to the vet in Newport when she heard something hit her car. She later realized that it was an egg, which froze onto her car and then chipped the paint when they removed it. Through social media, she learned that she wasn't the only one. Several other people also reported finding egg residue on their vehicles in other parts of Penobscot and Piscataquis counties.
I had someone reach out to me and ask me if it had happened to me and where it was. So I let him know, and he said, "Oh, well, it just happened to me too." After that, another person that I'm acquainted with got hold of me and said the same thing had happened to her husband.
Well, according to the Piscataquis County Sheriff's Office, some juveniles admitted to throwing eggs at a vehicle in Sangerville, but it is unknown if this was connected to any other egging incidents. It remains under investigation. On Saturday, President Donald Trump announced he would impose a 25% tariff on Canadian imports, except for oil and energy imports. Now, after a second phone call with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau yesterday, the U.S. will be pausing Canadian tariffs for at least 30 days. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bichard has more on how our congressional delegation is responding to that big news.
I'm very concerned that imposing arbitrary tariffs on Canada will really drive up the cost of living for most Maine residents.
Maine's congressional delegation is responding to President Donald Trump's Saturday night announcement of a 25% tariff on our Canadian neighbor, including a 10% tariff on energy imports. Congressman Jared Golden defended Trump's tariffs, saying in a statement, quote, "Reversing the damage of decades of globalization will take time. In the meanwhile, every dollar raised in tariff revenue should be used to offset costs for Americans or invest in and protect American jobs and industries." Senator Angus King took a more cautious approach, saying, quote, "Given the fact that they aren't set to happen until tomorrow, and this administration has already canceled one of its policies within a day, we don't want to speculate on this and alarm Maine people," end quote.
I think you have to distinguish between the tariffs that are being imposed on China and Mexico because of the drug trade versus the impact of the tariffs on Canada, our closest trading partner, a good friend and ally.
After a phone call scheduled for 3 p.m. on Monday, it was announced that the tariffs, including retaliatory tariffs imposed by Prime Minister Trudeau, would be paused for the next 30 days while the two countries negotiate a border deal. Senator Susan Collins does not believe this has damaged U.S. and Canadian relations.
I don't think so in the long term. Canada has long had a very close relationship with the United States, and I think we can get back on track.
Earlier Monday morning, it was also announced that the proposed tariffs against Mexico would also be paused for 30 days. In Augusta, I'm Corey Bichard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
And coming up later on in the broadcast, we'll have much more on those deals reached with Mexico and Canada and the ongoing tariff war with China. That and more coming up. But meanwhile, the time now, 8:10, coming up on Good Morning Maine. Next, Skowhegan isn't alone when it comes to paying for the high cost of trash removal. We'll hear the steps being taken to save residents some money in the town. But first, another check of that forecast. Not a bad day ahead. Mostly cloudy and windy with highs near 27 degrees. It will be mostly clear and breezy tonight with lows dropping down to around 0. A real cold night ahead. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and breezy with highs near 17. We'll be right back.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust. We get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snowblowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover-Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance. Browse our inventory online or in person. Whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, we can put you in the vehicle that is right for you. Sales, service, and parts. Rowell's Garage, doing business the right way every day.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust. We get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Attention families, the survivalist fate is in your hands.
If there's anything that y'all can send me today.
We all want this money at the end of the day.
I want to make it through to the end, but I don't feel good.
Depending on how cold they get, it's dangerous.
Just get him to shore.
Only you can extract them by hitting the button.
Hit the button.
I'm not pushing the button.
Extracted premieres Monday after the Super Bowl.
I'm very, very angry.
On Fox.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. As trash continues to pile up in Maine's landfills, the cost of transferring and disposing of that waste, well, it's also increasing. In Skowhegan, town officials are now looking at ways to help alleviate the costs on residential taxpayers. Grace Blanchard has more.
The Regional Recycling Center and Transfer Station in Skowhegan transfers more than 6,000 tons annually of household debris alone to a nearby landfill.
The town of Skowhegan does pay for all trash that is generated within Skowhegan, whether it's brought here to the transfer station or somebody hires a commercial hauler.
According to the waste management supervisor, the town is expected to pay over $600,000 this fiscal year to dispose of both commercial and residential trash.
We can reduce the waste that we're generating in town. That's a big thing right there. And increase the recycling. I would see a really big flip on the budget-wise.
According to Kirk, Skowhegan is one of the few Maine towns that still pays for both residential and commercial waste disposal. She presented her findings to the select board recently and recommended the town stops paying to throw away trash from commercial establishments.
There's no way that taxes or what it's costing to operate up there is going to go down.
Kirk is hoping to see more local businesses prioritize recycling to help generate revenue and mitigate costs.
Food is hard to reuse, it's canned, but the plastic or anything that at the restaurant we can reuse, we will do.
It's still cheaper than throwing it in the trash can where we have to pay to have it hauled away. So, I think it's a win-win as far as however you look at it for the town and the townspeople, bringing down those taxes.
The selectmen have not made any decisions but plan to discuss the topic further. In Skowhegan, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Younger Americans could be getting hit the hardest by the current housing market. Some real estate investors say rising home prices and interest rates are keeping an entire generation from owning a home. Some financial experts say most of Gen Zers cannot afford a home because the wages are not keeping up with the market's price increases. Financial experts estimate an average potential home buyer can now afford a house that costs around $111,000, but the average home price in the country is more than $420,000. Real estate experts say the number of houses young people can afford has sunk from 50% to just 15% over the last decade. You can now start booking your spring and summer camping trips online. Site reservations are now open for Lily Bay State Park and Sebago State Park. Reservations for all other parks will open up tomorrow morning, actually on Thursday morning, except for Aroostook and Cobscook Bay, which are now under construction. You can only book group reservations with a telephone call. The Food and Drug Administration has raised the alert level on a previous broccoli product recall to the highest level of health risk. The FDA now says it's elevated the status of recall of 12-ounce market-side broccoli florets made by the Braga Fresh Foods Corporation. It's now a Class 1 health alert. The FDA says there's a reasonable probability that consumption of the affected broccoli could cause serious health issues or even death because of Listeria bacteria contamination. The products were sold at Walmart stores in 20 states and have a Best Buy sale date of December 10th, 2024. The recall itself was announced back in December, and Braga Fresh says the products should not be eaten and they should be thrown out immediately. A lot of kids won't mind that either. Got to throw away the broccoli. All right, the time now is 8:16. Coming up after the break, Maine students are getting a look at how our state government works by participating as honorary pages. We'll hear from them along with your full weather forecast as Good Morning Maine continues.
You know what today is? It's Tuesday. But no matter what day of the week, Lowry & Associates is your go-to law firm. If you've been hurt, call us right now.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Slow down.
Cut! I get it. Slow motion. Slow down geographic atrophy. But we don't need gimmicks. Stick to the facts. GA, the advanced form of dry AMD, can irreversibly damage your vision. But Syfovre is an FDA-approved eye injection that gives you the power to slow GA. Syfovre was proven to slow GA lesion growth over 2 years with increasing effect over time. It's the only treatment to slow GA in as few as 6 doses per year.
Don't take Syfovre if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye that may include pain and redness or are allergic to it. Syfovre can cause severe allergic reactions. Other serious side effects are eye infection and retinal detachments, severe inflammation of vessels in the retina, which may result in severe vision loss, wet AMD, eye inflammation, and an increase in eye pressure. Most common side effects are eye discomfort, wet AMD, small specks floating in vision, and blood in the white of the eye. Tell your doctor right away if you have any side effects.
Act on facts to slow GA. Ask your retina specialist about Syfovre. Nope, just the facts.
Winter is a time to get outside and enjoy all that Maine has to offer. And when it's time to come inside, rest assured everything's toasty because of your Fujitsu heat pump from Valley Home Services. The comfort and warmth of home means more on days like these. Push a button and you'll be snuggling up on the couch in no time. Valley Home Services offers reliable rebates, significant energy savings, and expert installation. Embrace the comfort of Fujitsu heat pumps from Valley Home Services. Call or click today.
Maine students have the opportunity to see in person how our government operates at the State House. From elementary age through high school, they're invited to participate in the Honorary Page program, which allows them to perform the duties of the chamber staff for a day. Our Jody Hersey has more.
As lawmakers recently gathered in the Maine House of Representatives chambers, 4 students from Dexter Regional High School joined them to work as honorary pages.
It mostly entails performing duties that the chamber staff would do, so passing around notes, amendments, or supplements from reps, or even down to the other body, down at the other end.
Students participating in the program are welcome in both the House and Senate, where they are formally introduced before being seated in the front of the room. There they keep their eyes peeled on a seating chart that lights up when they are needed.
There's a little screen down in the front, and if it turns yellow, we'd have to go to that chair and we'd grab that slip, and then they'd point us into the direction where they would want us to leave that slip they just wrote.
Throughout the session, these messengers are under the supervision of the Sergeant at Arms and chamber staff, while their chaperones are welcome to watch them perform their duties from the House Gallery. On the day we visited, lawmakers kept them on their toes.
It was relatively easy, just very fast paced.
Austin Davis, the clerk of the Maine House of Representatives, says it's a program that's been inspiring students for years.
I'm 29 and I served as an honorary page when I was in the 7th grade, so it's been around for some time now.
Those interested in participating simply fill out a form online and give it to their local representative or mail it into the clerk's office to schedule an upcoming day and time. High school senior Mackenzie Clay is glad she did.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool experience. You don't get to see stuff like this very often, so I think other students should be doing this as well, yeah.
In Augusta, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
What a great opportunity. Well, did you hear the big concert announcement? Waterfront Concerts announced yesterday some real entertainment icons will be visiting Bangor this year. The Outlaw Music Festival will take place on September 5th, and it will feature Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and Sheryl Crow. Should be a fantastic show. Tickets will go on sale this Friday. Let's hope the weather is nice in September so we can all go out there and enjoy that big show. Weather looking pretty nice today anyway. Let's turn things back over to Devin Biggs for a full look at that forecast.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Small craft advisories and gale warnings are posted until 7 a.m. Wednesday along the coast. Also notice we have a freezing spray advisory posted, that little light blue shaded area there, because of the active surf. You might get some things freezing up along the coast. Wave heights are a bit active at around 4 feet according to the buoys, and anywhere you see these lighter shades of lighter blue indicates some higher surf that has been observed. Meanwhile, notice this, the last of the snow is getting out of here, so overall we will see the clouds break up today. Mostly cloudy this morning, partly cloudy coming up later this afternoon. Not a whole lot further off towards the north, so we will be calming down for a little while, but we do have another system to watch out for later on this week. So futurecast for today, a mostly cloudy sky on the way, maybe less clouds during the afternoon, becoming mostly clear overnight, maybe a few passing clouds at times. As we head towards your Wednesday, an absolutely beautiful day to get outside with plenty of sunshine on the way. Then once we head towards about Wednesday evening, still staying rather clear for the time being, but our next system will start to get a bit closer by that point. So let's talk about the next system. Here we are at Thursday morning. The system will start to move in with increasing clouds, mainly as snow throughout the day on Thursday, more so during the afternoon period. That's when the system moves in, Thursday afternoon. Then by Thursday night, that snow may switch over to a little bit of rain, and a little bit of a wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow cannot be ruled out Thursday night either. Notice the precipitation kind of backs off a bit into Thursday night to Friday morning. A little bit of wraparound snow can't be ruled out either as we head towards Friday morning before this thing gets out of here. On top of that, let's backtrack a bit. We still got gusty winds to talk about today that could reach up to about 30 miles per hour at times. Still some gusty winds to around 25 miles per hour later on tonight. And even in the parts of tomorrow, notice some gusty winds still up to about 20 miles per hour at times. So for today, we have upper 20s, mostly cloudy and windy, and the northwest wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour at times. Tonight, 0 degrees, mostly clear and breezy, northwest wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, upper teens, mostly sunny and breezy, northwest wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast showing a good chance for snow Thursday, especially during the afternoon period with highs in the low 30s. A slight chance for some leftover snow Friday, otherwise partly cloudy, highs in the mid-30s and mid-20s Saturday under a partly cloudy sky.
The best bulls in the world have come to town. For bull riders, 8 seconds can make them a champion or nothing. It's bull time. Banger. Get your tickets now at pbr.com/tickets or Ticketmaster.
The Furniture Gallery is celebrating President's Day. Camp and Cottage queen mattresses starting at just $198. Revolutionize your space with a cozy recliner. 3 color choices for only $298. Declare your independence from outdated furniture with a sofa chaise for $598. Or a sofa and love seat set, just $798. Get comfortable with the Scott Living King mattress, yours for the price of a queen. And don't miss these clearance deals up to 70% off. Hurry into the Furniture Gallery before these monumental deals are history. The Furniture Gallery.
Come stop by Triple S Tack Shop, 315 Hamden Road, Carmel, for quality clothing and equestrian gear.
Come bowl a few games here at Bangor Brewer Bowling Lanes. We're one of the only candlepin bowling alley centers in Maine, conveniently located in the heart of Brewer. You always have the opportunity to simply bowl for fun. However, you can also join a league. We have youth leagues, adult and senior leagues. Now don't forget, we also host birthday parties for under $100, and gift certificates are also available. Give us a call right away at 989-3798 to make reservations for your birthday party today.
The best bulls in the world have come to town. For bull riders, 8 seconds can make them a champion or nothing. It's bull time. Banger! Get your tickets now at pbr.com/tickets or Ticketmaster.
Now to the deadly plane crashes in Washington and Philadelphia. New details from both investigations this morning. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the latest.
This morning, the cause of that medical jet that crashed in Philadelphia Friday, killing all 6 people on board and 1 person on the ground, isn't the only mystery for investigators. Suzanne Lee Stepp says her 47-year-old sister Sarah was in that area the night of the crash and is missing. Suzanne spoke to our Philadelphia station WPVI.
When I called her phone, it went straight to voicemail. She always answers my calls.
She says Sarah had left her boyfriend's house to get something to eat near where the plane crashed.
Without her, I don't know what I would do.
At least 24 people were injured at the crash site, among them 10-year-old Trey Howard, his father describing the scene.
Just hear a loud bang and then a ball of fire. I turn around, he has metal out the side of his head.
Trey is now recovering from emergency brain surgery to remove the metal from his head. When he awoke, his dad says he had one thing on his mind.
Asked me, Daddy, what's today? Like Monday. Okay, wait, we didn't play yesterday, did we? No, you didn't miss the Super Bowl. He's a die-hard Eagles fan.
130 miles to the south, the fuselage of that American Airlines regional jet that crashed into a helicopter last week has now been pulled out of the Potomac. Overnight, the former fiancé of Jonathan Campos, the American Airlines pilot, spoke out, saying she's, quote, infuriated at President Trump for pointing to diversity, equity, and inclusion policies as possibly contributing to the crash.
This man's body hadn't even been pulled out of the river yet, and we're talking about him being unqualified because his name is Campos. The politicization of this man's death is entirely inappropriate.
Investigators are now combing through the black boxes, hoping to get to the bottom of conflicting data regarding the altitude of the helicopter at the time of the crash. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, a massive fire erupted inside a factory in Sydney, Australia. It happened at a chemical waste recycling facility in the St. Mary's section of the city. Nearby residents were told to evacuate as the fire sent up thick smoke high into the air. At its peak, officials described the blaze as extremely dangerous, fast, and hot. Fortunately, no injuries are reported, but 2 firefighters were treated for heat exhaustion. Now to the latest on President Trump's tariffs. Tariffs on Chinese goods have gone into effect, and it comes after the president halted his order to impose tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada, postponing them for a month amid negotiations around border security. ABC's Christiane Cordero has more from Washington.
This morning, all imported goods from China face a new 10% tax after tariffs ordered by President Trump went into effect at midnight. The executive order also adds import taxes to small packages, meaning shopping on online stores like Temu and Shein will become more expensive. Those retailers were previously exempt by a loophole that allowed shipments of packages worth less than $800 into the U.S. duty-free. China overnight announcing a retaliatory 15% tariff on U.S. coal and natural gas products, plus 10% on crude oil and certain machinery. Trump is scheduled to speak with Chinese President Xi today. Mexico and Canada struck a deal with Trump yesterday, just hours before the tariffs went into effect, postponing a 25% tariff by 1 month.
Did you blink this morning?
There was no blinking. No, she's a wonderful woman, but she did agree to 10,000 soldiers on the border. I would say that's a lot.
Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum agreed to send 10,000 troops to the border to help tackle illegal immigration and the flow of fentanyl into the U.S., similar to a move her predecessor did in the face of tariffs in 2019. The tariffs are now set to go into effect on March 4th. In limbo, the American food and grocery industry that gets nearly half of its imported vegetables from Mexico and Canada.
Everybody thinks Mexico, oh, avocados, limes. No, it's everything. It's everything. It truly is. Beets, turnips, greens.
The tariffs on Canada were also paused after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau agreed to implement an already existing border plan. The U.S. Customs and Border Patrol says roughly 1% of migrant apprehensions and less than 1% of fentanyl seizures happen along the U.S.-Canada border. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Thousands are expected to be in New Orleans for the Super Bowl this weekend, and local officials are trying to reassure the public after a terror attack in the French Quarter last month. Fox's Madison Scarpino with that story.
Welcome back to the city of New Orleans.
It's all hands on deck as New Orleans puts the finishing touches on security preps for Super Bowl 59 this weekend. The city is hosting the game for an 11th time. But there's added pressure this year after a New Year's Day terror attack on Bourbon Street killed 14 people.
We're about to be on a national stage again, and I hope we can pull it off.
Newly confirmed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem visited the French Quarter on Monday to honor the victims of that attack. She also toured the Superdome to preview security measures for Sunday's game, reminding the public, if you see something, say something.
Keep saying something until you are heard. If you see something that has not been dealt with, to continue to raise the level of awareness until the response has been taken care of.
Officials say while there are no credible threats to the public, there will be an enhanced security zone around Bourbon Street starting Wednesday, and mandatory bag searches for anyone entering the area. Thousands of state, federal, and local law enforcement officers are being deployed, and authorities say they're bringing in additional physical barriers to secure entry points.
We have worked tirelessly to ensure that the security and the safety of this city remains intact, and I believe that it absolutely will be.
New Orleans officials say many of these security measures will carry over into the Mardi Gras season. In Atlanta, Madison Scarpino, Fox News.
And coming up on the second half of the newscast, the cost of hosting a Super Bowl party is rising, along with the price of food. We'll have some helpful advice that will help save you some money as Good Morning Maine continues.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snow blowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. Just 44 days to go until spring. It won't be long now. It's also National Thank a Mail Carrier Day. They're the folks who brave all sorts of weather to make sure your mail makes it to you. This is a day to show them a little appreciation and recognize mail carriers for the important work they do. On this day in history, back in 1824, J.W. Goodrich, you know, the tire guy, well, he introduced the rubber galoche to the American public. In 1913, Rosa Louise Macaulay was born in Tuskegee, Alabama, a lifelong civil rights activist. She's better known as Rosa Parks. In 1932, the first Winter Olympics were held in the U.S. at Lake Placid, New York. And in 1974, media heiress Patricia Hearst was kidnapped from her California home by 3 armed strangers. A leftist group called the Symbionese Liberation Army called her a prisoner of war and made demands for her release. That all changed when Hearst was later spotted robbing a store with the group's members. After her eventual arrest, Hearst claimed she had been brainwashed, and her sentence was eventually commuted by President Jimmy Carter. In 2000, the revolutionary video game The Sims made its debut in North America. And finally, in 2004, a Harvard sophomore by the name of Mark Zuckerberg launched a little old social media site known as Facebook, and then it took off from there. Today's birthdays include country singer Clint Black, who is 63, former Vice President Dan Quayle is 78, and rocker Alice Cooper turned 77 years old today, still out there performing around the country. All right, before we move on, we're going to turn things back over to Devin for another check of that forecast.
Hey, Craig, thank you very much. Happy Tuesday. We have a few advisories to talk about along the coast. Some small craft advisories and gale warnings are posted until 7 a.m. on Wednesday. Some active surf will be expected. And with colder temperatures, you might notice that little bit of blue right here. That is a freezing spray advisory that is also posted at this time. Meanwhile, we had snow moving through last night. It is now tracking down to the south and east, so we are now done with that. The wind will be rather gusty coming up for a little while. Here's a bigger look at things. This last of the system is tracking away from us. We will calm down for a bit, but another system later on this week will be moving in our direction. Futurecast for today, a mostly cloudy sky overall. Some sunshine will be peeking out. Overall, mostly clear tonight. You might notice a few passing clouds at times. Some gusty winds reaching up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour today, even close to 30 miles per hour at times. And even notice the winds will keep gusting as we head towards your Wednesday to around 20 miles per hour or so. Upper 20s today, mostly cloudy and windy, and the northwest wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour at times. Later on tonight, 0 degrees, mostly clear and breezy. Northwest wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. The hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a partly to mostly cloudy sky with temperatures overall in the 20s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig?
Well, thank you very much, Devin. Well, with the big game just around the corner and the price of food rising, it's important for those planning a Super Bowl party to have a plan. ABC's Morgan Norwood shares some of the best ways to do just that.
The Super Bowl is not only a game for the championship of pro football, it's also an opportunity for many people to gather with friends and watch the game. If you're planning a Super Bowl party, it's time to figure out your menu. And with food prices going up recently, you'll need to shop carefully to stay on budget. Dr. Michael Swanson, Chief Agricultural Economist for Wells Fargo, says that overall, the average cost of foods that you might see on the typical Super Bowl menu is basically the same as last year.
Well, it's almost flat on our menu. So 0.4 for the total change, a little bit higher than last year. But that will, of course, be met with disbelief by anybody who's out there spending because they don't have our menu, and they'll say, that can't be true. But that's what we found from surveying all the Nielsen data for a menu that we thought was pretty representative for 10 people.
And while the overall cost of a full menu is about the same, prices for some individual foods have changed dramatically. Chicken wings, for example, a fan favorite, are up more than 7% in the past year. The cost of another Super Bowl staple, shrimp, it's down 4%. Trays of vegetables are popular for Super Bowl parties, and the good news is that costs for many veggies are lower this year.
Broccoli, celery, some of the other crops are down from a year ago, substantially down. And so that's a real benefit, especially if you want to eat healthy.
But not all vegetable costs are down. Prices for cherry tomatoes, red bell peppers, and avocados are way up since last year. So if you're planning a trip to the supermarket to shop for your Super Bowl bash, check out what promotions local stores may be running to help you save money.
One of the things is no supermarket offers the same promotions on everything. And the advantage today versus, say, a few years ago is you can scan those prices on their website very quickly. And so if you have your menu, you might want to play one against the other, look for where the promotions are.
Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New York.
And still to come this morning, Tyler Cruz will have all the day sports news. A special guest will also join us to tell us about a unique film festival that's kicking off this week at the Gracie Theater at Hudson University. Don't go away.
Let your creativity run free at the Creative Arts Center, where we offer fun and affordable activities for all ages. Birthday parties, pottery wheel classes, painting lessons, or just for the fun of it. Get fired up for glazing projects as well as acrylics. We offer a wide selection of ceramic products for you to choose from, and we have thousands of pieces ready to paint. We are a Paragon kiln dealer and a Laguna Clay distributor. Stop by the Creative Arts Center today, located just off the Joshua Chamberlain Bridge in Brewer. The Creative Arts Center, where your only limitation is your imagination.
Do you have a wet basement, nasty crawl space, settling foundation, sinking concrete, or clogged gutters? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basementy. For over 30 years, thousands of homeowners throughout Maine and southeastern New Hampshire have trusted TC Hafford. Basement waterproofing, crawl space repair, stabilizing foundations, concrete leveling, and gutter installation. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems for all things basementy.
It's high school basketball season, and ABC7 and Fox 22 are here to keep you up to date with your local scores and highlights during Friday Night Fast Break. Get out and support your hometown teams and look for our sports crew to get your own free Friday Night Fast Break t-shirt courtesy of
Boynton's Greenhouse, high-powered nutrition, Mills Shea, Texier, and Talbot, PA, Randy's Full Service Auto, and Skowhegan Tire Center.
I got hurt by a big truck. Why did I call the twos? Because life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money, and I'll fight to get it for you. We got a client who broke multiple bones in a commercial vehicle accident, $700,000. Another client had a brain injury, and we got them $1.15 million. If you get hurt by a big truck, call the twos. We win for you.
Hurt by a big truck, call the twos. We win for you.
Chiefs.
Everything you got, everything in play.
Eagles.
Barkley, touchdown!
Super Bowl 59, Sunday on Fox and streaming on Tubi.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. We'll start on the ice. What a weekend it was for Maine men's hockey. Despite being a bit banged up, the Black Bears coming off of their bye week with a home sweep, taking down Northeastern on Friday before beating UMass on Sunday. The Black Bears won 3-1 Friday and 3-2 Sunday, with Albin Boya saving 44 of the 47 shots on the weekend, helping the Black Bears to the 2 wins. Boya made this game-saving glove snag on Sunday, with Maine leading 3-2 and facing a 6-on-5 from the Minutemen. Look at that angle from Maine Athletics. He made that incredible save. He was named Hockey East Goaltender of the Week yet again, and it also was good enough for SportsCenter's Top 10.
UMass, Maine's goalie Albin Boya coming across. I know he sounds like a legendary phrase. Boya, like
Boya,
like booyah, just missing one of the O's. Maine wins 3-2. That's a great save.
Booyah, love the Stuart Scott shout out. Maine move up to 5th in the nation with another big weekend ahead. A top 10 road matchup at number 7, Providence. Staying on the ice now, let's head over to Sawyer Arena for some Class A high school boys hockey. Bangor Rams have won 2 in a row, looking for a third as they host Kents Hill. First period is where we pick it up. Rams up 1-0. Here comes Kents Hill. This is Cameron Collicott, rips a shot on net, but Cody McHugh is there for the save. Still in the first now, Rams have it. Andrew Slocum leaves it for Preston Karam, and he rips this one on net past the goalie. That gives the Rams a 2-0 lead heading into the second. In the second now, Kents Hill has it. Antoine Morin all alone here on the breakaway, and his backhanded shot gets past McHugh. That is going to cut the Rams' lead in half, 2-1 now. But McHugh would only allow one more goal past him. Nice glove save here in the second period. Rams tack on 3 more goals too. They win it 5-2. To the basketball court now. It was a special weekend for Husson women's basketball and head coach Kissy Walker. On Saturday afternoon in Presque Isle, the Eagles took down UMaine Presque Isle 71-61, giving Coach Walker her 600th career victory as head coach of the Eagles. The former UMaine point guard has been with Husson as the head coach for now 35 seasons. She's the second coach in the state of Maine to reach the 600-win plateau and the first woman to do it as well. And she says the environment around her at Husson has played a big role in her success.
And it's been great hearing from everybody. And so I have reflected on it. And, you know, really I think I've been fortunate because I've had great players. I have a loyal staff that has been with me for quite some time. And, you know, Husson has been supportive in the administration. So you got to have, you know, those ingredients in order to have some success. And I know not everybody gets that where they're at.
Over her 35 years as the head coach, Walker has led the Eagles to 12 national tournament appearances between the NAIA and NCAA, and she's been named the Coach of the Year for her respective conference 11 times. And just ask her players, she is a multiple-time Hall of Famer for a reason, and she's gotten to know them pretty well over the years too, which has also been key.
Well, I've said since the very beginning that, like, I chose Hassan because I felt cared about. Coach off the court is one of the best people you'll meet, so putting that into a coach, you couldn't ask for anything better.
You do learn from the kids. You know, I've had to learn, you know, all texting now when you're recruiting kids, and it's really about learning each individual player. You know, like when we start to travel more, you really get to know some of the players better, and in order to help them get better, understanding how they operate certainly helps.
Let's go to the baseball diamond now. On Sunday night, one Mainer was remembered for introducing the game of baseball to Japan, and one Red Sox outfielder was on hand in the Pine Tree State. Horace Wilson was born in Gorham, Maine, and traveled to Tokyo in the late 1800s to teach English, but that wasn't all his students learned. During breaks in their class time, Wilson taught them the game of baseball, making it the first time baseball was played in Japan. Eventually, it grew to become the country's national sport. There's Japanese-born Red Sox star Masataka Yoshida. He was there at the University of Southern Maine, and he said the legacy Wilson left has passed on throughout the years. Certainly a cool event and a really cool story. You see Wally there, too. Speaking of the Sox, move over Groundhog Day. The unofficial start of spring training was Monday morning with the Red Sox equipment truck leaving Fenway for Fort Myers, Florida. Inside the truck, there are over 20,000 baseballs, 1,100 bats, 200 batting gloves, and 200 helmets, and then my favorite, 20 cases of bubble gum and 60 boxes of sunflower seeds. The Red Sox, they added a few big-name pitchers this offseason, mainly Garrett Crochet and Walker Buehler. Sox outfielder Masataka Yoshida, like we said, he was in Maine this weekend. Here's what he had to say on the season.
Yeah, obviously, this is a team that it's expected to win the World Series every year, right? But this is my first 2 years. I have not been able to achieve that with the team, so that's something that I'm looking forward to, and just excited to be part of the team that's going to accomplish this year.
All right, pitchers and catchers report next week. Let's hope for better things this season from the Sox. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Tired of waiting for the power company to restore your power? Call Ideal Energy Solutions. Let Ideal Energy Solutions install a Generac automatic standby generator and bring the power back instantly. Don't settle for less than Ideal. Go with Ideal Energy Solutions. Call today.
The competition will be bundle and save.
He said, we heard Bob's really beats the competition when you bundle and save.
Wow, what a bundle! What we mean is, when you bundle my treasure mattress with my Power Bob Elite base, you get a competition-stopping 18-year mattress warranty, underbed lighting, USB ports, and customizable positions, and you save $200.
So we don't need the ski suit.
No, but he looks great! See how much you can save when you dare to compare at Bob's Discount Furniture.
It's high school basketball season, and ABC 7 and Fox 22 are here to keep you up to date with your local scores and highlights during Friday Night Fast Break. Get out and support your hometown teams and look for our sports crew to get your own free Friday Night Fast Break t-shirt courtesy of
First National Bank, Moosehead Motorsports, Tapestry Chiropractic, Barney Buick GMC Bangor, and Warren's Waterfront Restaurant.
These celebrities need to ignore the fear, or this course will break them.
Yes, Seth. Yes, Seth.
Louder.
Yes, Seth.
Take him out.
Yes, Seth.
Do you know where you are?
No, Seth.
You're in hell. Come on! Oh.
Man, what do we get ourselves into?
Ready? Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
Special Forces, all new Wednesdays on Fox, and watch anytime on Hulu.
If you're looking to make the switch to heat pumps for your home or office, call Ideal Energy Solutions. Ideal Energy Solutions is ready to help you save energy with a new heat pump today. Don't settle for less than ideal. Go with Ideal Energy Solutions. Call today.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, we have Jerry Missler joining us this morning. You are the managing artistic director at the Gracie Theater at Hudson University. You got a big title for an important job.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have so much fun going on at the Gracie. This is a very busy month. In fact, Craig, tomorrow and Thursday we have the Banff Film Festival.
Yeah, what's this all about?
Oh, it is so fun. And Bangor is really supportive of the Banff Film Festival because there's so many outdoor lovers. It is a juried film festival. There are about 10 films a night, different ones on each night. So Wednesday night we're doing a group of films just arbitrarily named Granite by the Banff Film Festival people. Thursday we're doing Sandstone, and both of them will be like, 4-minute films all the way to 40-minute films, and they have been juried, so they are just top notch. They're adventure films, they're outdoor films, but a lot of them are also touching. So it's not just about 20-year-olds climbing to the top of this mountain and skiing down insanely. It is about people who are living their dreams, going to the extremes, but also just passionate about what they want to do and accomplish in life. And
that's part of it. They want to inspire others to get out there and live life.
Well, and once people go to one Banff Film Festival, they're like hooked because we have all these community partners who show up and have tables where you can get information about a biking club in Maine, a hiking club, an outdoor club, any kind of community involvement that you can have. And then at intermission, we have a free raffle. We give away great prizes. It doesn't cost anything extra. And tickets are just $15. So it's a really fun night. Wednesday and Thursday starts at 6:30, but people should come early because you want to talk to the community partners, the experts.
Great way to think about warmer weather too this time of year, going to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Check out the Gracie's website if you want to learn more about that. I noticed they have a trailer on there that kind of gives you a little snippet of what the films are all about.
The footage is amazing. Yeah, really.
This one's exciting me. I like this one coming up.
Do you want to be a pirate?
I've always wanted to be a pirate. This one's happening on Saturday, February 8th.
Saturday afternoon, this Saturday at 3:30. The reason I love this show, first of all, it's Pirate School. Or when we're going to learn how to be a pirate. It's a 1-hour, really, really fun show for kids like 3 to 10 years old. Even adults will love this show. It is so funny. David Engel is the pirate. He brings a beautiful set and the world's only wearable boat.
Oh, really?
Yes,
okay.
And he is a former clown, so he does magic. He does inspirational stories. He's got this talking skeleton. He reveals the treasure. So there's magic and fun. Cannons are booming. People are arguing, and it's really interactive.
I can't stop doing that.
I know. It's really interactive. Yeah. So people are coming. Kids will get to come up on stage, interact with David. He's really, really friendly and fun, and he's going to come out after the show, so you just can't miss it. We'll have some pirate booty available and some great cookies from Governor's because Governor's Restaurant is sponsoring this. So,
fantastic. How much does this cost to go to that one?
Oh, the kids are just $10.
All right.
I know. And adults are 18. And the thing is, because I'm here this morning, people get to know there's a special code. Yes, Husson Gold will unlock the gold, which is 10% off your ticket. So,
all right, well, there you go.
Yeah, use Husson Gold as your promo code. You can call us at 941-7888, but we also have tickets available online. So it will be there all day on Saturday, so people can just come by and grab their tickets. So it's a lot of fun.
And those are just a couple of the many things coming up at the Gracie over the winter ahead. We're out of time this time, but we'll have to have you back to talk about some of those over the months ahead, too.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Now we're going to send it back over to Devin for a final look at that forecast.
Alrighty, Craig, thank you very much. Small craft advisories and gale warnings are posted until 7 a.m. Wednesday along the coast. Also notice we have a freezing spray advisory posted, that little light blue shaded area there because of the active surf. You might get some things freezing up along the coast. Wave heights are a bit active at around 4 feet according to the buoys, and anywhere you see these lighter shades of lighter blue indicates some higher surf that has been observed. Meanwhile, notice this, the last of the snow is getting out of here, so overall we will see the clouds break up today. Mostly cloudy this morning, partly cloudy coming up later this afternoon. Not a whole lot further off towards the north, so we will be calming down for a little while, but we do have another system to watch out for later on this week. So futurecast for today, a mostly cloudy sky on the way, maybe less clouds during the afternoon, becoming mostly clear overnight, maybe a few passing clouds at times. As we head towards your Wednesday, an absolutely beautiful day to get outside with plenty of sunshine on the away. Then once we head towards about Wednesday evening, still staying rather clear for the time being, but our next system will start to get a bit closer by that point. So let's talk about the next system. Here we are at Thursday morning. The system will start to move in with increasing clouds, mainly as snow throughout the day on Thursday, more so during the afternoon period. That's when the system moves in, Thursday afternoon. Then by Thursday night, that still may switch over to a little bit of rain, and a little bit of a wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow cannot be ruled out Thursday night either. Notice the precipitation kind of backs off a bit into Thursday night to Friday morning. A little bit of wraparound snow can't be ruled out either as we head towards Friday morning before this thing gets out of here. On top of that, let's backtrack a bit. We still got gusty winds to talk about today that could reach up to about 30 miles per hour at times. Still some gusty winds to around 25 miles per hour later on tonight. And even in the parts of tomorrow, notice some gusty winds still up to about 20 miles per hour at times. So for today, we have upper 20s, mostly cloudy and windy, and the northwest wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour at times. Tonight, 0 degrees, mostly clear and breezy, northwest wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, upper teens, mostly sunny and breezy, northwest wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast showing a good chance for snow Thursday, especially during the afternoon period with highs in the low 30s. A slight chance for some leftover snow Friday, otherwise partly cloudy, highs in the mid 30s, and mid 20s Saturday under a partly cloudy sky.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust. We get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
When you're ready to tackle your next building project, depend on the knowledge and experience of Hammond Lumber Company. Hammond's Home Planning Center will turn your ideas into accurate conceptual drawings, and 3D visualization is available. Your Hammond sales rep will prepare a materials list and cost estimate. And when you buy all of your materials from them, Hammond will refund all of your design fees. Hammond can deliver your order from any of their 22 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner since 1953.
When I would visit my mother at the nursing home, there were really bad sores on her back, but nobody would tell me what was going on. Why not?
If an incident has occurred at a nursing home that's brought up cause for concern, call the twos right now.
The attorneys at Lowry and Associates helped me get answers. They held the nursing home accountable for what happened to my mother.
If you suspect nursing home abuse or neglect, we're your go-to lawyers.
It's high school basketball season, and ABC 7 and Fox 22 are here to keep you up to date with your local scores and highlights during Friday Night Fast Break. Get out and support your hometown teams and look for our sports crew to get your own free Friday Night Fast Break t-shirt courtesy of
Central Equipment Company, Drinkwater's Cash Fuel, Modern Epoxy and Polishing, Old Town Redemption Center, Overhead Door Company of Bangor, and Steaks and Stuff.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust. We get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
A new recruit has joined the ranks of the Maine Capitol Police. Teddy is a 17-month-old Labrador Retriever and is now the Maine Capitol Police's first bomb detection dog. According to the Maine Department of Public Safety, having Teddy allows the Maine Capitol Police to conduct daily sweeps of the State House complex, which will ensure safety, reduce disruption from bomb threat hoaxes, and will expedite decision-making and responses to potential emergencies. If you're questioning Teddy's qualifications, rest assured he is the dog for the job. He was selected and trained through the Maine State Police K-9 unit and is also certified through the Maine Criminal Justice Academy. He's a real cop. On top of that, Teddy is the 100th detection dog to graduate the AKC Patriotic Pup program. And we will have much more on Teddy a little later on in the week. And love is in the air at one coffee chain with new limited edition Valentine's Day drinks. Starbucks is celebrating the month of love by bringing back 2 limited time menu items. Starting on Tuesday, today, the coffee chain will begin offering a chocolated Cove Red What's that say? It's a strawberry cream frappuccino. Sounds good anyway. Also a chocolate hazelnut cookie cold brew drink at U.S. locations. The company says the specialty drinks will only be available for a limited time while the supplies last. So get out there and get yourself a couple of those new drinks if you want to. Well, that's it for now, folks. We thank you so much for joining us. All the latest news tonight on ABC 7 News at 6. In the meantime, we hope you have a wonderful day.
Today on 25 Words or Less, his show Andy Richter Controls the Universe wasn't just a darling with the critics, it was also beloved by the 8 people who watched it. It's Andy Richter! And joining Andy are college